If you've ever taken a course and it didn't work out, this video is for you. I feel like these are the core value things to be able to get the most out of a course. You can take these things and go back to some of your old courses that you deemed not being able to learn anything from, or the courses that you did feel like you learned something, but you're not actually doing what they said to do. You can take these new rules that I'm going to share and kind of embody them so that you can go back to your old courses that you once take or you once took. You can go back to your old courses that you once took and take them again with a fresh lens, a new perspective, which we all know can make something that used to be dark look light and luminous and have a clear path. It can light a path to make a murky path look clear, because now you have a new perspective. You have on new glasses, you have a new vision, and so it makes things much more easier to understand. All right, so number one, you haven't decided that it's going to work, and that is so important. Making the decision that, hey, when I take this course, this is what it's going to do for my life is so important, because if you don't really have a clear expectation. Like, you can't even formulate the mindset that's needed because you haven't even made the decision that what you just got is going to work. I feel like when I take vitamins and certain things of that nature, whenever I decide that it's not going to work for me, it literally does not work for me. I could take biotin for my hair, skin, and nails, and my nails are still short as nubs, and I can't get them to grow, and something is wrong, and blah blah blah. But as soon as I take biotin with the thought process that, oh, I can't wait for my nails to be long, I'm gonna book me a nail appointment in 2 weeks so they can take care of my long nails. All my hair is gonna feel so much more healthy and shiny, and I'm making these plans for it because I have decided that that's what's going to happen. All of a sudden my nails are growing, my hair is growing, my hair is looking better, my skin is looking better, and I attribute that to making the decision that it's going to work. Anything will work if you believe it works. It's almost like those diets and stuff. I mean, you can do any diet. If you believe that it will work and you follow the plan, you will get the results. That's just how, things work. That's just how life works. So you have to decide that this course is going to work for you. Like, start thinking about, if it's a course about money and finances, and they say, hey, in 30 days, I'm going to take you from, I don't know, like a 600 credit score to a 700 credit score. You have to make the decision right then and that moment that, oh my goodness, I can't wait to have this for myself. This is going to work for me. What you have to romanticize it a little bit, like, after this happens and I'll be in the space to be able to start looking for a home or get that new car that I wanted. Oh, it's going to be so nice. Oh, I can see myself getting new credit cards, and what could I do with that credit card? Oh, I could take it and go on a beautiful trip and then pay it back monthly. And oh, I ran the numbers and I can actually afford that. Oh, I just can't wait to take this course because this course is going to give me so much. It's going to catapult my life. You have to not only make the decision about it, but you gotta get some juices flowing and be excited about it, because it is exciting. You bought the course for a reason. You wanted results. So you have to decide that those results are going to be yours. Number two, sometimes we don't learn things the way that we should in a course because it might not just be your time to learn it. So, and when I say not your time to learn it, I'm not saying you have to try it today and it doesn't work out, so now you have to wait 2 years or a year or 6 months and then you'll be ready. I'm saying sometimes you can hear the same piece of advice 30 different ways, but the 31st way that you hear it is the way that makes it click for you. And I feel like what helps it click is the experiences life brings after you learn something or before you learn something. It helps you make that connection and bridge that gap a lot easier, because you're like, oh, I went through this and I felt this way. I felt the way that they're saying. Oh, I get it now. Now I can apply it to my life because I had this new thing happen to me and now I get it. Now I understand. So it might be a thing where you do have to wait, 30 days and go back to it, or you just got to live life a little bit more. So sometimes one of the things that I have found myself doing is asking for life experiences to come and teach me so that I can have a better ability to understand this lesson. Sometimes it's just a level of understanding that I just don't have within myself. And so it's going to make it harder to grasp information from a course, because you have to remember these courses are being created by people from their experience. So they're trying to take their experience and translate it and communicate it to you as easy as possible so that you understand, so that you will be able to embody the same principles and get the same results that they had. That's the whole purpose. So sometimes it's like a language barrier, not like you speak English and I speak English, but it's still a language barrier because there's something about our communication that's not on the same accord. I mean, imagine how, someone who's just learning English would speak to someone who's been an English speaker their whole life. They might use words that don't necessarily translate for the other person. I always recommend that when people take these courses and stuff, take each lesson 2 to 3 times, so that, and even if you understand it, take it 2 to 3 times, because it's going to help you actually have it more cemented in your mind. It's actually depositing knowledge and information there, and then doing it with repetition. Of course, we know repetition creates, behavior and change and pattern, and you actually will have a better chance at remembering it. So, try that. See if it works. Give it 2 to 3 times before you say, I give up. And then I would say even after that, then maybe we want to give it time. Maybe we want to give it like we said, 30 days, 60 days, but actually give it a chance, because I noticed that a lot of people who don't agree with courses that others are creating, it's because they gave it one chance. It did not sink in right there in that moment. And that's it. They feel like they didn't get what they needed. So, just give it a chance in that way. Number 3, this kind of goes hand in hand. You don't know how to embody the tools or the lesson that you've received. So again, it kind of speaks back to my last point of making sure you're taking the course or the training or the material 2 to 3 times before you just pass it off. And this helps you truly, fully embody the lesson or embody the tool. You also want to find yourself practicing how to use that tool. So if you received a new spiritual tool from the lesson, or let's just say an ebook from the financial course, you want to start practicing that and implementing it small little bites, but implementing it into your life on a day-to-day basis. So if the financial course says something about cut back on this on a day-to-day basis, well, then you want to start slowly putting it into your life where you're cutting back on a day-to-day basis. If the spiritual course is teaching you a new spiritual tool like meditation, and they're saying that meditation is very valuable and it's a lesson that you want to learn, you want to start embodying it by practicing meditation. So maybe it's not something where you do it every day for 30 minutes a day, but you could do it every day for 1 minute a day, or 3 minutes a day, or 5 minutes a day. And it would help you embody more of the lesson, because you think about it, it would help you more than to not do it. If you didn't do it, you pretty much embody nothing. But if you actually take the time to start taking those lessons and applying them into your life, on your day-to-day life, on your day-to-day journey, and training your brain to remember. Oh, I got a tool for that. Oh, I have a lesson for that. I have something I can apply to this. It's like, I don't know much about tools, but it's like if your tire breaks down and then you remember that you have a jack and the little wrench thing. Oh, I have something for that. You have to be in your life on a day-to-day basis, so much so that you remember when there is something when you have a tool for a certain situation. So it could be something like you learn to count to 10 when you're angry to yourself. You have to remember that you now have that as a tool in your tool belt. You cannot forget about that. Now you have to go through life like, okay, I got mad. Catch yourself and remember. Catch yourself and remember. Catch yourself and remember. We are programming our minds to catch ourselves and remember that I have a tool for that. I can count to 10 to myself and breathe deeply and see where that gets me. See, a lot of people will learn a tool, and because they had an old way of resolving that problem, they still go back to their old ways of trying to solve new problems, even though that didn't solve the past problem. So why are you doing it to the future problems? Who knows? But it's a pattern. So you have to learn how to disrupt the pattern and say, no, I remember I have a tool for that. You know, I remember the financial coach said that, you know, I need to save 10% of this paycheck. I remember I have something for that. You know, I remember I have something for. Do I feel depressed today? I remember that one course told me what to feel, you know, what to do whenever I feel depressed. Let me implement that into my life. Doing it this way creates a relationship with the new information and your current reality, so that they are bridging together to create a new reality where you make different decisions, where you make better decisions, where you make more informed decisions on when it comes to your life, living in a day-to-day basis. Lastly, I think a lot of people underestimate this one. Limiting beliefs is like the biggest thing that can hold you back, because if a course is saying it's going to teach you how to process your emotions better with grief and loss, but you have a limiting belief in your mind that's saying, no, when we experience grief and loss, we are depressed and we will stay depressed, and this course is not going to help me, and I can't do this. And you have all these limiting beliefs. My mother told me that you must cry and mourn and be very sad during grief and loss. Oh, my father told me that I can't do that. My friends will look at me crazy if I do that. All these limiting beliefs make it so that it's much, much, much harder to embody certain courses or principles or things that others are trying to teach you. Any information that they're trying to teach you, it can be harder to grasp if you have that wall up, the wall being the limiting belief. In some cases, certain information, depending on how it is presented, it can kind of cause some effects to the wall of limiting beliefs. It might cause you to have a moment to ponder and say, you mean to tell me that I don't have to be sad? That others are out here, experiencing grief and loss in a different way than I'm experiencing it? It will cause you to start asking yourself new questions that you didn't ask before. And sometimes you can get so deep with the questions that you completely come out of your limiting belief because you actually see it as a limit. And other times you don't go deep enough, so you never get to the root of it. So the information exists, but you have not truly embodied the information because of that brick wall that is a limiting belief. The only way to get over this is to dismantle those beliefs. I will be posting content around that as well, but you have to have that belief and dismantle it, break it down into bite-sized pieces. You have to break it down so small that you can easily digest it, so that you know what it is, so that you are aware of what these pieces are that make up this large thing that you once thought you could not get through. You've broken it up into small pieces to where it is dismantled. It is you see it for what it is. And because you see it for what it is, you now know that you can decide to either believe it or not believe it. And then you choose to not believe it, so you throw away the old belief. And now you have a clear passageway for new information, knowledge, skill, talent, divine gifts, spiritual gifts to come through. You have an open channel for it to flow through because you've gotten that block out of the way, which is limiting beliefs. So these 4 things, right? These 4 things will help you have a better experience with not only your courses that you take or that you buy, because I am a big advocate for courses, simply because they are created from each person's perspective, and a person's perspective on how to heal something can change your whole world, because then it's one less thing that you have to struggle through to learn. You actually learn it from them. But the only way that you're going to be able to receive it is by doing these 4 things, which is deciding that it will work, which is knowing that it may not be your time to learn it, but you're going to give it 2 to 3 tries anyway and come back to it if needed. Learning how to embody the lesson or the spiritual tool or whatever tool that you've been given or the information, learning how to embody it. And lastly, knowing that limiting beliefs do exist. We do all have them. We do have to do work to dismantle them. And it's a lifelong process. I want you to know that. I don't want you to ever feel like, oh, this person is just so spiritual and all knowing that they never have limiting beliefs. That is absolutely not true, because I have them. Some of the people that I look up to in the spiritual community, they have them. They just change. So each level that you elevate your limits and beliefs, you might discover new ones. If you're on this new level, it's a new problem to deal with. Each level is going to bring a new limits and belief that you have to dismantle and work on within self to be able to actually get to the answers that you need to dismantle it. Again, I will be creating a video about that. But I hope these 4 tips help. Please, just like I just told you about on step 2, that sometimes it's not your time to learn it. So try to give it 2 to 3 tries before saying it doesn't work. The same goes for this video. Please watch it 2 to 3 times. Watch it too. It's not for my views. It's so that it sinks in, so that it's something that you can revert to and remember. This is a tool. This information that I just gave you, it's a tool in your toolkit now. You can use this because now you'll know how to process different information that's not your norm. So now that you know that it's a tool of yours, you have to do what? You have to practice it. You have to practice it so that you can embody it. You have to decide that if I apply these 4 things to some of the courses that I'm going to be taking, it will work. You have to, again, we're doing it 2 to 3 times. And you have to also know that you have limiting beliefs around those courses. You really have them now because you might have already taken the courses and you might already decided that they don't work for you or they weren't as helpful to you. So you already have limiting beliefs around it, and you might have some that's even, that go even deeper. But those exist. So see them for what they are and realize that you have to dismantle them. Start asking yourself some reflective discovery questions so that you can get through those limits and beliefs. But if you do these things, you will also understand this video much better. Any piece of information that you have not heard before that you have just learned, you can embody, you can learn, you can absorb, you can receive much easier by applying these 4 principles. So I hope this was very helpful to you. Please leave me a comment on which principle was your favorite. Leave me a comment if you actually apply these things and then take one of the old courses that you once took and now you see it with new eyes. If you see it with new eyes and you actually understand it now in a way that you did not understand it before, I don't care what the field is. It could be fitness, it could be nutrition, it could be spiritual. If you do that, please leave me a comment because I would love to see that. So make sure that you subscribe so that I can keep things like this coming. This was not a plan of a video that I wanted to do, but it was a download that I had when I was running this morning, so I feel like it was for somebody. Again, thanks so much for watching. Peace out.